Well, Ian, they say time flies in football. Does it feel like a year since you first set foot in Meadow Lane?
I think it feels longer than that. Only because of the amount of games. It feels like we've had so many games and so much has happened. Obviously, I came in and then we went into the end of the season and a playoff campaign. So it kind of feels like almost longer than a year in a way. But it's certainly gone quickly. It's certainly gone quickly, and it's been an enjoyable year.
Obviously, the start was a tricky one. How do you reflect on your first few weeks at the club?
Yeah, it was a difficult, certainly a difficult first game. That was a bit of a disaster, really. And the first, I'd say 7 or 8 games were tough because I came in. There wasn't much time on the training pitch. The first game, I think I'd been in the building 24 hours and was really getting to know everything around the place. But I felt like we did get some messages across and some important foundations in, even though some of the results weren't great. And then I felt like once we got out onto the training pitch and got to work a little bit, we really got a much better feel for where we wanted to be and perform much better. But yeah, it was tough coming straight in, and we came into like Saturday, Tuesday, and it was pretty full on straight away.
Culminated in a great run into the playoffs, really picked up some form towards the back end of last season and really started to see your philosophy coming out in the performances, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought there was like the first kind of 8 games, there was little bits of it that we saw. But certainly by the end of the season, I felt like I was able to put my stamp on what I wanted the team to look like and how I wanted us to play, and a bit who we were really in our identity. And I thought we did that well. I thought we played a great game against Chesterfield here when we got the fans back in, and it was a tight semi-final. Went to extra time and we didn't quite make it, but I felt like we put a lot of good groundwork in for the following season.
Obviously that followed the summer. Recruitment's obviously a huge focal point at that time of year, as well as preparation tactically for the new season. How do you reflect on how the summer months went?
Yeah, again, first time for me in England with a pre-season and recruitment process and things like that. But I thought it went well. We've got a lot of good people in the club that work very diligently around recruitment and analysing and trying to bring the right people in. And I think we did a good job of getting some of the right players in for the upcoming season. And yeah, it was good to have a pre-season. Being in Scandinavia for 7 years, you get a much longer pre-season and more time out on the training pitch. So this was a short pre-season for me for what I'm used to. But I think it went well. We came through in a good place. And I think we started the season well. I think we went 8 games unbeaten. So I think the foundations were good.
This season's not been one without its challenges. There seems to be quite a few different things being thrown at us throughout the season so far. But we're right in the promotion mix heading into what you could describe as the run-in. Generally, if you could assess sort of the team's performance and your own performance this season, where would you rank it?
I think we've had some moments where we've been really good. I think we've played some great games. I think we've been a little bit disappointed in some of the games where we've gone ahead and not been able to quite see the games out, and maybe should have a few more points than we feel. At the same time, I think we've stuck true to the way that we want to play, and we've been very clear with that, and I think that's important to do throughout the season, that you have something you believe in and you work with that. And I think we've had a couple of blips. We had the 3 games in I think it was October where we lost 3 in a row, where we missed again. We had a little bit of bad luck missing Connell, Lacey and Carl Cameron all at the same time, and then we had recently similar kind of spate of injuries around the defensive unit. So and like you say, we've had some challenges. We only got 1 league game in December, but I think we've come through a really difficult period. I think when you look at the fixtures that we've had, probably from October through, I think we've played so many of the top teams, some of them twice. So we're there or thereabouts. We'd like to have been a bit closer. We always said we wanted to be in touching distance to the top for the run-in. We're not quite there, but we're certainly touching distance to second and third with a run-in approaching. So I think we have to stay focused on what we want to do, and hopefully we'll finish as high as we can and give ourselves a good opportunity.
You've been here a year. Obviously the first few months, I suppose, were slightly skewed in terms of getting a perspective of Notts County, the football club, because there were no supporters in the stadium. But You know, now you've had that sort of full experience of some big games here at the ground, and obviously working at the club for a year. What sort of club is Notts to work for?
It's a brilliant club, brilliant club. Thoroughly enjoy it. I think that, like you say, when I first came in, it was strange because it's big stadium, no fans in there, because of the COVID situation, you couldn't get any connection with the supporters or the people out there. We just played the games and went home, and it was a little bit strange coming into a club and not being able to kind of build any rapport. But I think as soon as the fans came back in Weymouth, you felt the Weymouth game at home, and then of course the Chesterfield game where we got the supporters in, you really felt like there was a buzz about the place, and I got to know what Notts was all about, and it's a great fan base. It's a great atmosphere at Meadow Lane, especially when we're playing well and they're behind us and driving us on. And I think also when we've been away from home, the travelling support's been immense. So it's great to be a part of that. You know, I've enjoyed building a relationship with the supporters and with the people around the club. And yeah, it's a fantastic place to be.
Looking into the future, what are your sort of short and medium term hopes?
Well, short-term hopes is that we finish as high as we can and we give ourselves a great opportunity in the playoffs, and that's what we want to do. So I think we've just got to keep a high level of performance. I think we've shown that the last two games against Dagenham and Boreham. But it's going to be a lot of tough games after Chesterfield. We go away to Southend and then away to Torquay. So it's never easy in this division, but we've just got to maintain our high standards, work really hard for that. And then, yeah, I think that's the short-term goal. The medium-term and long-term goal is to keep building on the way that we want to play, our identity, who we are, recruit smart for that, and keep building the club up.